When Von Ryan's Express hit theaters in 1965, it was marketed as a high-octane wartime thriller that blended action, suspense, and the star power of Frank Sinatra. Adapted from David Westheimer's 1964 novel of the same name, the film tells the story of Allied prisoners of war, POWs, in Italy who, under the reluctant leadership of a U.S. officer, staged a daring escape by commandeering a German train. Part World War II adventure, part psychological study of command and leadership under duress, the film balances Hollywood spectacle with grim wartime realities. It stood out in the mid-1960s as one of the more cynical war films, eschewing patriotic triumphalism in favor of sacrifice, tension, and moral ambiguity. This breakdown explores the film in depth, examining its story, characters, themes, production background, reception, and legacy within the war film genre. The film begins in the summer of 1943, as Italy is wavering in its alliance with Nazi Germany. Colonel Joseph Ryan, Frank Sinatra, a U.S. Army Air Force officer, is shot down over Italy and sent to a POW camp run by the Italian army. The camp holds a mix of British and Allied prisoners led unofficially by the senior British officer, Major Eric Fincham, Trevor Howard. Ryan's arrival immediately creates friction. He insists on strict military discipline, rubbing the British officers the wrong way. He also refuses to engage in reckless escape attempts, arguing that survival and pragmatism take priority. His refusal earns him the nickname Von Ryan from his fellow prisoners, suggesting he is more German than Allied in attitude. The war shifts dramatically when Italy signs an armistice with the Allies. The Italian guards abandon the POW camp, leaving the prisoners temporarily free. However, their celebration is short-lived as German troops move in to take control of Italy and its prisoners. Ryan persuades the prisoners to stay put rather than scatter into the countryside, believing they stand a better chance together. The prisoners are rounded up and loaded onto a train bound for Germany. In a series of clever maneuvers, they overpower the guards and seize control of the train. Ryan, using his wits and command experience, convinces the Germans at several checkpoints that the train is under proper Axis control. The journey becomes a battle of nerves as the prisoners, disguised as German soldiers and Italian civilians, must keep their ruse alive while traveling through hostile territory. Ryan's cautious strategies often clash with Fincham's boldness, fueling tension within the group. As the Germans become aware of the escape, the train is pursued across Italy and toward the Swiss border. The climax unfolds in the Alps, where the prisoners make a desperate dash for freedom. Ryan, true to his pragmatic but selfless leadership, chooses to remain behind to hold off the pursuing Germans. In a final act of sacrifice, he ensures that the others cross into Switzerland even as he is gunned down on the tracks. The film ends with a poignant image, Ryan falling, mortally wounded, while the surviving prisoners disappear into safety. Colonel Joseph L. Ryan, Frank Sinatra. Sinatra's portrayal of Ryan is the film's linchpin. He is not a conventional Hollywood war hero. Ryan is pragmatic, often unpopular, and focused on survival rather than glory. His leadership style is questioned repeatedly, yet he proves himself through cunning and sacrifice. Sinatra underplays the role, relying on toughness and a weary pragmatism rather than bravado. Major Eric Fincham, Trevor Howard. Fincham provides the British foil to Ryan's American style of command. Where Ryan is pragmatic, Fincham is idealistic, proud, and often stubborn. Their clashes reflect broader Anglo-American tensions within the Allied command during World War II. Howard brings a sense of weary dignity to the role, grounding the story in a realism that offsets Sinatra's star presence. Supporting cast. The supporting cast includes characters who embody the diversity of the Allied POWs, Italians who waver in their loyalties, British soldiers yearning for action, and Americans who oscillate between cynicism and courage. These figures round up the drama, providing both comic relief and moments of pathos. At its core, Von Ryan's Express is a study of leadership under pressure. Ryan represents discipline, rationality, and sacrifice, while Fincham represents tradition, honor, and boldness. Their conflict mirrors the broader challenges of coalition warfare, where different national styles had to coexist. The film repeatedly questions whether survival or heroism is the ultimate goal. Ryan's choices often prioritize living to fight another day, while others seek immediate glory or vengeance. The tension between these approaches drives much of the drama. Trust is fragile throughout the film, between officers and enlisted men, Italians and allies, and even within the prisoner group itself. The film suggests that betrayal, both personal and political, is inevitable in war. Ryan's final act cements the film's theme of sacrifice. Though criticized throughout the story, he ultimately proves his loyalty through self-sacrifice, highlighting the cost of leadership in wartime. The film was based on David Westheimer's novel, itself inspired by his own experience as a POW in Italy during World War II. The novel ends differently, with Ryan surviving, but the filmmakers chose a bleaker conclusion for greater dramatic weight. Mark Robson directed the film with a focus on realism and tension. The train sequences, shot on location in Italy and Spain, give the film a sense of authenticity. Robson blends action with quieter character moments, ensuring the film maintains suspense while allowing for character development. As the lead actor and a major Hollywood star, Frank Sinatra exerted considerable influence over the production. His involvement ensured the film's commercial viability but also shaped its tone. His preference for grounded, cynical characters aligned with the film's anti-heroic approach. While Von Ryan's Express is fictional, it draws on real POW escapes and train hijackings during World War II. The Italian armistice in 1943 did create chaos that allowed some prisoners to escape, though few managed feats as daring as those depicted in the film. The film was released at a time when Hollywood war films were shifting from patriotic spectacles toward more cynical explorations of conflict. The Great Escape, 1963, had set the standard for POW escape films, but Von Ryan's Express distinguished itself with a darker, more tragic conclusion. The film's cinematography emphasizes both the confinement of the train and the vast landscapes of Italy. Sweeping shots of the Alps contrast with claustrophobic interior scenes, mirroring the prisoner's struggle for freedom. Jerry Goldsmith's musical score adds tension and emotional depth. His use of sharp, rhythmic motifs during chase sequences builds suspense, while more somber melodies underline the human cost of war. Upon release, the film received generally positive reviews. Critics praised its pacing, suspense, and Sinatra's performance, though some noted it lacked the depth of The Great Escape. The ending divided audiences. Some admired its boldness, while others found it unnecessarily bleak. The film was a commercial success, particularly in the United States and Britain. It capitalized on Sinatra's popularity and the enduring appeal of World War II adventure stories. Today, Von Ryan's Express is remembered as one of the better mid-1960s war films, notable for its realism and its refusal to offer easy triumphalism. It influenced later films that embraced ambiguity and sacrifice over neat heroism. The decision to kill off Ryan at the climax was controversial but crucial. It transforms the film from a simple escape adventure into a meditation on sacrifice. Ryan's death underscores the reality that freedom in war often comes at the expense of individual lives. The final image, Ryan falling as the train disappears into Switzerland, lingers as a reminder of the cost of survival. It also leaves the audience with an ambiguous sense of victory. The prisoners escape, but their leader dies in the process.